Welcome, warriors and wildlings, to the very first pulse-pounding episode of Warriors Gauntlet, the only show where biology, ethics, and common sense take a back seat while hypothetical death matches roar to life in brutal, brain-bending detail. We're kicking off this series with one of the internet's most infamous barstool debates, argued in gyms, barbershops, dorm rooms, and every testosterone-fueled Reddit thread in between. 100 unarmed, average men, versus a single, fully grown, silverback gorilla. Now, before you scream gorilla sweep or declare 100 is too many, let's break this down scientifically. We're talking about one of nature's most muscular tanks against a literal small army of fleshy primates with the intelligence to coordinate, but the strength of, well, guys named Chad and Greg who work in accounting. The setting, a closed-off Roman-style arena, 100 meters across, with no weapons, no cover, and no way out. The only rule? Victory is achieved by total incapacitation, or death of the opposing force. On one side, the gorilla, an apex herbivore with the power to deadlift a car, an attitude that says, "Get off my lawn." On the other, 100 men, aged 20 to 35, randomly selected but healthy, all motivated to survive, and all stripped of tools, armor, or ranged weapons. No army vets, no martial arts masters, no Navy SEALs hiding in the mix. Just average guys, probably the kind who yell at UFC fights on TV and think, "I could do that." Can numbers and strategy triumph over raw evolutionary power? Or will the arena run red with the blood of the overconfident? Grab your bananas and tighten your man buns. It's time for war. Say your prayers, because the Warriors Gauntlet is about to begin. Let's begin with the singular beast at the heart of this battle, the silverback gorilla. The silverback is a dominant male of a gorilla troop, usually found in the dense rainforests of Central Africa. While not a predator, it is a territorial and highly defensive creature, capable of great violence when provoked. Silverbacks have been observed fending off leopards, dismantling vegetation with their bare hands, and dragging full-grown rivals like ragdolls. This isn't King Kong, but he's not far off. This gorilla is in its prime, standing roughly 5 feet 7 inches, but weighing upwards of 400 pounds of pure muscle. Its bite force clocks in at 1,300 psi, strong enough to shatter coconuts, femurs, or dreams. Its arms are disproportionately long and powerful, allowing for explosive lunges, bone-breaking swings, and Hulk-like grapples. In terms of brute strength, studies estimate that a gorilla is about 6 to 10 times stronger than an average man. It can sprint on all fours at 20 miles per hour and has incredible reflexes for an animal of its bulk. While unarmed, the gorilla's body is a weapon. Fists like cinder blocks, a jaw like a bear trap, and skin tough enough to absorb serious damage. It doesn't need tools. It is the tool. Its sheer kinetic force in close quarters is catastrophic. They've been known to flip large objects, rip apart bamboo stalks thicker than human limbs, and fight off entire groups of rivals. There are real-life accounts of gorillas showing restraint even as they overpower humans effortlessly. This one, for the sake of the gauntlet, will not be so kind. The gorilla, for all its power, is still a biological organism vulnerable to being overwhelmed, fatigued, or attacked from blind angles. It has no understanding of human tactics, formations, or group psychology. Additionally, a single traumatic injury, like multiple men dogpiling and targeting the eyes or throat, could put it down. It's also vulnerable to sustain blood loss, joint dislocations, and neurological trauma if targeted smartly. Now let's turn to the mass of humanity, 100 average men. These are ordinary adult males, randomly selected but in reasonably good health. Think construction workers, high school gym teachers, gamers who lift, and guys who peaked in intramural flag football. They're not special forces or pro fighters, but they're not couch potatoes either. While each man individually is no threat to the gorilla, the power of numbers can't be dismissed outright. Humans possess group coordination, planning, agility, and creativity. Individually, they're weak, but together they can strategize, feint, surround, and swarm. Humans evolved for persistence hunting, tiring prey out over long distances. While this won't be a marathon, that instinct to move as a pack and exploit weakness is hardwired into us. The men wield no weapons. They're barefoot, shirtless, and armed with nothing but fists, teeth, elbows, and fear. Some may try to use bodies as shields or form lines. Most will panic. Some will fight smart. Others will probably try to take selfies. History shows that even unarmed humans have brought down massive predators. Wolves were tamed. Lions were cornered. Mammoths were hunted into extinction. This isn't unprecedented. It's just extreme. In prison riots and street fights, small mobs have taken down single, armed aggressors through sheer overwhelming force. However, the men are vulnerable to fear, hesitation, and lack of unity. Most of these men have never been in a life or death situation. Blood and broken bones will send many fleeing. If they fail to commit all at once, they'll be picked off one by one. There's also the psychological element. Seeing your comrades torn apart by an unstoppable beast can shatter morale faster than a motivational speaker at a funeral. Now, we know our players. One is a natural-born weapon. The others are human ambition in khaki shorts. The question is no longer who would win. It's how bloody will it get? The arena gates groan open. On one side, the gorilla lumbers in. His breath is steady, his body bristling with power. Black fur ripples over slabs of muscle, and his eyes scan the space, registering tension in the air. His knuckles beat against the dirt, his chest rising slowly like a piston of fury, waiting for a reason to explode. On the other side, 100 men file in. They're nervous. Some are pacing, fists clenched. Others mutter plans. Go for the legs, flank it, dogpile when it charges. But most just stare. It's one thing to talk about fighting a gorilla. It's another to be 15 feet from it, hearing it growl. A horn blares. The gorilla roars, a deafening, primal sound that hits like thunder. For a split second, all 100 men freeze. Then the charge begins. Not from the men, from the gorilla. It moves like a missile, galloping forward on all fours, covering 40 feet in seconds. It crashes into the front line with the force of a wrecking ball. 2 men are launched into the air, spinning like rag dolls. A third is knocked down, and the gorilla's arms rise and fall like sledgehammers. The crack of bones fills the air. The front dozen men scatter. The second wave, trying to circle, hesitates. 10 brave souls seize a moment. They rush in from all sides. One leaps onto the gorilla's back. Another grabs an arm. 2 more grab legs. It's a bold play but short-lived. The gorilla thrashes violently, slamming the man on its back into the dirt head first. The ones on its limbs are ripped free, like Velcro dolls. The gorilla grabs one man by the shoulder and hip and twists. The scream is sharp and then cut short. That man doesn't get back up. But now the men learn. They stop coming in waves. They begin circling, shouting, coordinating. 20 men rush from behind, jumping onto its back and legs. 5 punch at the sides. 1 brave lunatic punches in the nose. It reels for a moment. A crack to the eye, a knee to the jaw. The gorilla stumbles, momentarily overwhelmed, but only momentarily. With a guttural bellow, it explodes into motion. It spins, flailing. Bodies fly. The man who punched it is grabbed and hurled into crowd. A stomp lands directly on someone's ribcage. Another man's skull meets a backhand and crumples like paper. It's chaos. Blood smears the sand. Screams rise. And still the gorilla fights. But it's slowing. 40 men are down. Some are dead. Some just unconscious. Others crawl away, broken and retching. But 60 remain. And now they swarm. Like a colony of ants. They pour over the beast. They scream, not out of fear, but out of fury. Rage. Survival. The gorilla is dragged down. Fist rain. Elbow slam. One man jams his thumb into the eye socket. Another bites the ear. It bucks wildly, crushing another body beneath it. But it's on the defensive now. They beat it, hammer it, strangle it. One man gets an arm around the neck. Another climbs atop the pile, pounding its head with both fists. It takes minutes. Endless, agonizing minutes. But finally, the gorilla stops moving. It doesn't roar. It doesn't twitch. It's still. A silence falls over the arena, broken only by labored breathing and groans of the injured. Of the 100 men, only 17 are left standing. Most limp, some are soaked in blood. One weeps, clutching his broken hand. The gorilla lies in a crater of carnage, surrounded by cracked bones, dented skulls, and the echo of a war that will be told in whispers. Victory goes to the humans, but at a catastrophic cost. The gorilla's loss wasn't for lack of strength. In the first 30 seconds, it killed or maimed over a dozen men with terrifying ease. Its brute power made it a walking executioner. Every blow a potential fatality. Limbs snapped, skulls shattered, torsos crumpled beneath its wrath. For a creature of raw biology, it performed above and beyond. But the numbers never stopped coming. The key factor here was the shift in group psychology. At first, the men fell into disarray, shocked by the carnage, by the animal's sheer dominance. But humans adapt. It's our species' defining trait. Fear became fury. Strategy replaced chaos. When the survivors realized that sacrificing themselves to swarm and pin the creature gave others a chance to strike, martyrdom turned into momentum. The gorilla's greatest weakness wasn't its strength. It was its biology. No matter how hard it hit, it could only face one direction at a time. It couldn't guard its back, sides, eyes, and limbs all at once. It was a lone powerhouse in a battlefield built for collaboration. Overwhelmed by numbers, fatigue, and constant trauma to vital areas, its nervous system gave out. It suffered massive internal bleeding, broken bones, and eventually suffocation by sheer force of crowd. It died a warrior's death, but it died. Of the 100 men, only 17 survived the battle standing. Nearly half perished within the first 2 minutes. But humans, once cornered, became animals too. Cunning, vicious, and desperate. It wasn't just victory. It was survival. But don't close the gates just yet. Because next time on Warriors Gauntlet, ideology becomes violence as we pit two of the most politically charged forces in modern America against each other in a no-holds-barred, knockdown, Black Mass versus Red Hat showdown. Antifa versus the January 6ers. No tear gas, no barricades, just fists, flags, and fury. Stay tuned. It's about to get patriotic.